It's midnight and you're tuning in to Nightline with me, Natasha Busst. The top stories. Petronas to keep existing contracts after Petros takes over Sarawak gas distribution. And complaints involving police misconduct to be comprehensively managed through Speaks. National oil company Petronas will retain all its existing domestic and international contractual obligations in Sarawak. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said this will remain the case even after Sarawak's state-owned oil company Petroleum Sarawak Berhad Petros assumes control of gas distribution in the state as the aggregator effective from March 1st. The Prime Minister mentioned this when he announced the agreements between the federal government and Sarawak concerning Petronas and Petros during a special briefing in the Dewan Rakyat on Monday.
Petronas dan Petros akan bergerak sederap sebagai rakan bagi menjamin kepentingan dan hasil negara serta kepentingan negeri Sarawak. Segala rundingan terperinci berikutnya akan mengekalkan manfaat dan kepentingan bersama mengikut prinsip-prinsip komersial secara telus.
Anwar said this is due to Petros' role as Sarawak's sole petroleum and gas aggregator following the amendments to the Distribution of Gas Ordinance 2016 DGO. Petros, under the DGO, is guaranteed to obtain up to 1.2 billion cubic feet of natural gas per day for Sarawak's domestic needs, with additional guarantees based on future needs. Last month, Anwar said the matter of gas distribution rights between Petronas and Petros in Sarawak had been resolved following a meeting with Sarawak Premier Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg. Anwar also took the opportunity to list the benefits Sarawak had enjoyed from the oil and gas industry since 1976. This includes upstream investment of more than 280 billion ringgit. In terms of financial returns, Anwar stated that Sarawak had received cash payments of 49 billion ringgit as of December last year. Over in Sarawak, its premier expressed gratitude to the Prime Minister for recognizing the state as the country's sole gas aggregator. Speaking at an event in Cebu on Monday, Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg also reaffirmed Sarawak's commitment to national cooperation.
Saya ucap terima kasih pada Perdana Menteri kerana he recognized Petros as gas aggregator. Kita tidak tamak. Itu minyak gas kita cek because of the needs of the nation as well as the state. Jadi kita kerjasama.
Later at another function, the Prime Minister stressed that Malaysia's diversity should not undermine inter-community relations, but instead be harnessed as a source of strength to build a more prosperous and progressive nation. At a ceremony to commemorate the late Tunku Abdul Rahman Putra Al-Hajj, Anwar said this is in line with Malaysia's Code of Arms motto, Unity is Strength, chosen by the father of independence, who firmly believed that differences could enhance the nation's strength. Anwar stressed that the people must continue to uphold the principles laid down by past leaders to ensure that Malaysia remains a united, progressive and prosperous country.
Tanggungjawab kita, generasi kini, ialah memaknai kemerdekaan itu. Memberi erti kepada hasrat yang murni dan mulia bapa-bapa dan ibu-ibu pejuang kemerdekaan dan pengasas negara ini, supaya negara ini harum.
The younger generation should better understand and appreciate the struggles of past leaders like Tunku Abdul Rahman in building a united and stable Malaysia. In this regard, Anwar said the Tunku Abdul Rahman Memorial could serve as a platform not only to commemorate history, but also to foster awareness and educate the people. The Prime Minister expressed his deep admiration for Tunku Abdul Rahman, noting that no individual in Malaysia's history has united the hearts of all races like the country's first Prime Minister. Speaking at another event, Anwar stressed that Malaysia's position is clear, that it remains non-aligned and will not be drawn into great power rivalries. The Prime Minister pointed out that Malaysia rejects economic coercion and unilateral actions that undermine regional stability.
We reject economic coercion and unilateral actions that undermine regional stability. We support a rules-based multilateral system that ensures fairness, transparency and representation for all, particularly the Global South.
Anwar said this in his keynote address at the China Conference Southeast Asia 2025 on Monday. He also said that ASEAN's major foreign policy thrust is the principle of centrality to ensure it remains fiercely independent and thus able to engage with all countries, including traditional partners in the West and the new emerging force, particularly China in the East, together with other countries in Asia. Anwar noted that ASEAN must also expand its global engagement beyond traditional partners. By diversifying its partnerships, Anwar stressed that ASEAN could enhance its economic resilience, tap into new investment opportunities, and play a more proactive role in shaping global governance frameworks. After attending the China conference on Monday, the Prime Minister made a surprise visit to Sekolah Kebangsaan SK Kampung Baru in Kuala Lumpur on the first day of the 2025-2026 school session. Anwar, who arrived at 10 a.m., spent approximately 40 minutes at the school. He interacted with students and teachers at the school and even took the time to read a book to Year 1 pupils. The 2025-2026 school session for Group B, involving nearly 5 million students, began on Monday in 11 states. A day earlier, the same session opened in Kedah, Terengganu and Kelantan for Group A, involving 632,260 students. And in a move to overcome overcrowding problems in existing schools, 17 new schools will be opened nationwide this year. In addition, according to Education Minister Fadlina Siddiq, intervention measures such as the construction of additional cabins and the implementation of 2 school sessions were also introduced to optimize existing space and facilities. Fadlina said this to the media after visiting SK Taman Pelangi Semenyih in Selangor to observe the opening of the 2025-2026 school session on Monday.
Intervensi kita ada pelbagai, antara lain termasuk pembinaan kabin-kabin untuk kelas-kelas bagi mengatasi isu kelas yang tidak kondusif. Jangan bayang kabin pon tractor. Kita dah buat sesuai untuk jadikan dia yang kondusif lah untuk kelas.
Overall, this approach can ease the problem while waiting for the construction of new, more conducive schools. She noted that in Selangor alone, 95 schools received additional cabins involving 31 classrooms with an allocation of 69 million ringgit. The government has allocated 9 million ringgit to send teachers overseas to attend leadership and artificial intelligence AI courses beginning this year. Education Ministry Secretary General Datuk Ruji Ubi said around 20 and 50 teachers will be selected based on several criteria to be part of the initiative.
Tujuan dia untuk memberikan ilmu dan juga pengalaman dari segi leadership. Kursus boleh dibuat sedekat Singapura. Ada beberapa buah institusi juga yang baik di Singapura dan sejauh-jauh kemungkinan Amerika Syarikat.
Ruji met the media after observing the first day of school at SK Jalan Datuk Palembang in Bukit Baru, Melaka on Monday. He added that the initiative is crucial in enhancing the country's quality of education. Ruji will chair a meeting with the Education Director General soon to identify eligible teachers from the ministry, state education departments, district education offices, and schools for the program. In welcoming the move to send teachers abroad, the National Union of the Teaching Profession, NUTP, has called for more initiatives to elevate the nation's education system to world-class standards.
Equipping teachers with leadership and AI skills is a crucial step in improving education in Malaysia. It is important that all teachers who possess the necessary skills and capabilities have the opportunity to benefit from this funding. With global exposure, teacher can bring back valuable knowledge and modern teaching methods to benefit students.
Complaints involving police misconduct will be comprehensively managed through the Investigation and Complaints Management System, SPEAKS, which will replicate the current methods. Home Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail said the new system, developed by the Independent Police Conduct Commission, IPCC, is expected to be launched next month. Saifuddin told the Dewan Rakyat on Monday that the new system will make it easier for the public to submit complaints. The system provides real-time updates on the status of each complaint compared with having to submit it via email or letter.
Bila sistem ini nanti sudah mula beroperasi, Tan Sri Dipertua, kita akan dapat susuli misalnya kalau kita nak hasilkan annual report dengan details, perincian statistik, aduan yang diterima, yang diselesai, yang masih lagi pending, kita boleh buat.
He added that 8 investigation papers have been opened by the IPCC since July 2023, with 4 cases resolved. Meanwhile, Saifuddin stated that the Security Offences Special Measures Act 2012 (SOSMA) and the government's plans related to the law will be clarified during the Dewan Rakyat session this week. Last Friday, the Cabinet agreed for the Home Ministry to review and reassess SOSMA following the announcement of amendments to the Peaceful Assembly Act 2012. Describing the introduction of the new complaint system next month as a timely move, the Malaysian Integrity and Governance Society, MIG, noted that it is a significant step forward. Its president, Datuk Sri Akbar Sattar, stated that it reinforces the Independent Police Conduct Commission, IPCC's commitment to enhancing police integrity and efficiency.
The IPCC must increase public trust of the police force and must show the public that it is an independent body that investigates complaints against the police. Under Section 4 of the Public Act, the Commission's functions are to receive complaints alleging misconduct by members of the police force and advise the government on promoting integrity within the force.
In Terengganu, a former headmistress claimed trial in the Kuala Terengganu Sessions Court on Monday over money laundering charges involving more than 28,000 ringgit. The accused, 47-year-old Zalina Abidin, made the plea after the charges were read separately before Judge Muhammad Azhar Othman. Zalina was accused of directly being involved in transactions involving proceeds from illegal activities by instructing the transfer of more than 10,000 ringgit to a designated recipient's account. She allegedly committed the offences at 2 separate banks in Kuala Terengganu in August and October 2022. Zalina was also accused of receiving proceeds from illegal activities amounting to more than 18,000 ringgit in 2022. The charges were framed under the Anti-Money Laundering, Anti-Terrorism Financing and Proceeds of Unlawful Activities Act. The court allowed the accused bail amounting to 30,000 ringgit and fixed March 23rd for next case mention. Malaysia's economic growth is expected to stay firm between 4.9 and 5% in 2025. According to Hong Leong Investment Bank, HLIB research, the gross domestic product GDP growth is supported by investment-led expansion and improved domestic demand, particularly household spending and the implementation of public and private investments. The country also appears well positioned to withstand potential challenges in the wake of global trade tariff measures. The economy is further reinforced by higher civil wage hikes, an increase in the minimum wage, expanded cash transfers, a robust labour market, and a steady pipeline of investments benefiting from the government's incentives packages. The research house added that such factors will serve as key buffers against external headwinds, ensuring that Malaysia remains on a stable growth trajectory despite the evolving global trade landscape. Japan's economy grew faster than expected in the fourth quarter on improved business spending and a surprise increase in consumption, shoring up the central bank's case for more interest rate hikes. Preliminary data showed on Monday that gross domestic product GDP expanded 2.8% annualized in the October to December quarter, beating a median market estimate of 1.0% gain. The annualized increase in GDP follows a revised 1.7% growth in the previous quarter and translates into a quarterly rise of 0.7%, also better than the median estimate for a 0.3% uptick. The GDP data comes against the backdrop of Japan's central bank raising rates to 0.5%, their highest level since October 2008, and offers it more room to stick with monetary tightening. Singapore's opposition leader was fined on Monday for lying to Parliament while helping a fellow party member cover up a false witness account, but narrowly avoided being barred from contesting upcoming national elections. 48-year-old Pritam Singh, Secretary General of the Workers' Party, was found guilty on 2 counts of lying to a parliamentary committee probing a fellow member of Parliament. District Court Judge Luke Tan said contrary to what Singh told the committee, he had not done enough to get rookie MP Raisa Khan to admit to her lie in Parliament. The judge also gave credence to Khan's testimony that Singh had told her during a meeting to take the lie to the grave. Singh, who said he would appeal the court's decision, was fined $5,223 for each charge. Under the Constitution, a person fined a minimum of $7,400 or jailed for at least 1 year is disqualified from running for election for holding a parliamentary seat for 5 years. European leaders are gathering in France for an emergency summit on Ukraine after the Trump administration announced it was opening talks with Russia on ending the war without a European presence. French President Emmanuel Macron welcomed leaders from Germany, Britain, Poland, Spain, the Netherlands, Denmark, along with the European Union leadership and the NATO Secretary General at the Élysée Palace in Paris on Monday. The French presidency said the meeting will focus on the situation in Ukraine and security in Europe. An advisor to Macron emphasized the urgency for Europeans to enhance their efforts in a more coordinated and effective manner in response to the acceleration of the Ukrainian crisis and statements from U.S. leaders. The hastily convened informal summit comes after U.S. President Donald Trump said he could meet Russian President Vladimir Putin very soon. The majority of Australian voters want the current Labor government out of office, posing a threat to Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's re-election plans just months ahead of a national election as his approval rating hit its lowest point. A news poll conducted for the Australian newspaper showed on Monday that the opposition Liberal National Coalition has a thin 51-49 lead over Labor on a two-party preferred basis. A hung parliament would be the most likely outcome if the poll numbers were to be replicated and in an election due by May. Some 53% of 1,244 voters surveyed said they did not believe the Labor government deserved to be re-elected, with Albanese's approval rating hitting a record low of -21, his worst as Prime Minister. South Korea has suspended downloads of DeepSeek's artificial intelligence-powered chatbot pending a review of the Chinese startup's privacy standards. South Korea's privacy watchdog said on Monday that DeepSeek's R1 chatbot was removed from the local versions of Apple's App Store and Google Play after the Hangzhou-based firm acknowledged that it had failed to comply with personal data protection rules. The government agency said the AI model will only become available again to South Korean users when improvements and remedies are made to ensure it complies with the country's data protection laws. The chatbot, however, is still available for those who have already downloaded the app. At least 9 people have died, including 8 in Kentucky, after harsh winter weather struck the United States as a result of heavy rains. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear said on Sunday that there have been 1,000 rescues across the state since the storms began Saturday. He noted that many of the deaths, including those of a mother and a 7-year-old child, were caused by cars getting stuck in high water. Beshear also said that the storms have knocked out power to about 39,000 homes, but he warned that harsh winds in some areas could increase outages. A state of emergency has been declared and people are urged to stay off the roads. According to the National Weather Service, brutally cold weather is expected to hit much of the country later in the week. And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look as Kamen Rider cosplayers surprised students at the Sekolah Kebangsaan Bandar Baru Sri Damansara in Kuala Lumpur, giving them an unforgettable welcome to this new school year. With that, I'm Natasha. Thank you for watching and stay safe.